Girl, look what she did. She went into the chicken food. But you know what? That's my fault because I tied her up and, I didn't clear everything out of the way. It was my fault for putting her in a situation where she can get into something like that. So, it's not all your fault, alright? Alright, what's up, you guys? Welcome to another video. So, in this video, I'm going to be teaching the Doberman to not eat things off the floor. Okay, so she's 7 months old now. We put the prong collar on her, and now we are able to do corrections. Because she's older now, and we were able to establish a good relationship through positivity. And now we have to show her that eating things off the floor is bad. You know, we ran into a situation where she was eating chicken poo. So she was eating chicken poo and she got sick off of it. And so now we're gonna run a couple of different training sessions and we're gonna teach her not to eat things off the floor. So I'm going to set a trap for her. I got some really good Vienna sausage, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it on the floor here in the garage, and I'm gonna walk with her on the leash, and if she goes for it, I'm going to correct her, right? And this is going to teach her that you can't just eat anything off the floor that you like. But before we do that, I'm going to play with her, and we're gonna work the dog. We're gonna burn off some energy. We're gonna get her satisfied. You know, we're gonna show a fair relationship. I'm gonna play with her. We're gonna do some tug of war. We'll do a little bit of obedience, and then after that, I'll come into the garage with the food already on the floor, and then we'll do some corrections, okay? Because that's a good balance between playtime, training time, and obedience, and also shaping behaviors with corrections. Alright, you guys, just kick back and enjoy and watch me play with the knot. This is building a bond. This is creating a relationship. This is also getting her bite stronger, alright? And so I'm training her to become a good protector for the family. At the same time, she looks at it as a game, so it's a win-win situation. Go, bite. Go, bite. Boy. Yes. Look at that. You let her win, and she's happy. It builds up her confidence. When you tie your dog up like this, you want to make sure you use a harness, and you want to make sure that the cable is clear and it doesn't get trapped in the feet. You see how the cable is under her body? You don't want that. She's gonna hurt herself, so you have to fix that. You see how it's under her body right there? You don't want to play tug with her when the wire is like that. The wire has to be clear and above the body of the dog. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Down. Down. Good. Down. Sit. Yes. Good. Good. Good bite. Good. Good. Good boy. Good job. So when you play tug of war like that and you give the dog the toy, good. Right? You let her win. You got to make sure that the dog brings it back to you. Don't let the dog keep it, because you want to teach the dog it's not the toy that's fun, it's me playing with you with the toy that makes it fun. Come, come, come. Yes, good. All right, so that keeps the engagement going from me to the puppy instead of the toy to the puppy. I like it. Getting confident. You see how she takes the toy away? She wants to keep it for herself. But there's no fun going on when she has it, right? It's when I touch it, there's fun. Yes. Now there's a game of tug of war. So we're teaching her it's not the toy that's fun, it's me that's fun. Ooh, good. Good. Okay, that was pretty good playtime. So now we're gonna work on a little bit of obedience and with playtime as well, but we're gonna work with the ball. So we'll run some obedience, I have some treats, and then we'll end it with a game of fetch. And then after this, we're gonna go to the garage. I'll put some food on the ground, and if she goes for the food without me telling her, she's gonna get corrections. So this is showing the dog there's a good balance, you know? I'm your best bud, I'll play with you, I'll give you treats, we'll play fetch, but at the same time, I make the rules and I call the shots. And if I don't like you doing something, you're gonna know about it. But there's a mutual respect between one another, so it's never any negativity. It's all positive guidance and mentorship. Now we're just gonna work on a little bit of obedience. Yep. Yep. Sit. Down. Heel. Yes. It's all playtime for the dog. Good girl. The dog thinks it's all playtime, but in reality, we're doing obedience and we're playing training. And this is gonna be both fun for the dog and the owner. And this is how you really build a relationship with the dog. Down. Good girl. The Doberman is 7 months old now. She's getting a lot better with obedience. Playing with her is a lot better. She knows how to deliver the ball to me. Down. Sit. Heel. Yes. Good. Okay, so now that we're done playing, I spent some time playing with the dog, exercising the dog, training the dog, building a relationship. So now I'm gonna put her back on her harness. I'm gonna lock her in here. I'm gonna keep her there. Now I'm gonna go in the garage and I'm gonna set up the food on the floor. Okay, so we're gonna use these high desirable food here. Crack it open. And I'm just gonna go and put pieces all over the garage. I got Uso in the cage, so he might be crying a little bit. You might hear him in there in the background. Sometimes you gotta set your dog up to fail, so that way you can show him and guide him the right way. You know, doing an exercise like this could possibly save a dog's life. You know, just imagine if this was chocolate on the floor that one of your kids dropped, you know, and your dog ate all the chocolate. So now what? Now you gotta take your dog to the vet, get him pumped out, you know, that can cost you thousands of dollars. So if you put in the work early and train your dog to not eat things off the floor, you can save yourself a lot of money and possibly even death. Okay, I'm gonna get I got the camera set up. I'm gonna go get the Doberman. We're gonna walk here and you're gonna see me use some pretty strong corrections, okay? So the Doberman's old enough to handle these corrections. It might seem a little bit rough, but you gotta send the message to the dog and you gotta let him know that what you're doing, eating things off the floor, is not acceptable. So you need the right amount of pressure to get into the dog's head, okay? So let me go get the dog and we'll work on this lesson here. All right, so I'm gonna attach her leash to the prong collar, and the prong collar is gonna make all the corrections. Take her off the harness. Let's go. So we're not gonna say anything. We're just gonna walk in the garage, nice and casual. And as the owner, I have to be prepared to give her a correction, which is a snap, as soon as she opens her mouth to touch the food. She got that one. She got one on me. She's sneaky, she's fast. Doing corrections is an art form. It's not as easy as people think it is. Timing has to be right, pressure has to be right, your energy has to be right. Down. So I'm doing obedience around the food and I'm feeding her with treats so that way she understands that the food has to come from
the owner only.
This is a very high distraction scenario. This is the first time I'm doing it. You know, I want to be 100% transparent with you guys. And I want to show you guys exactly how I handle things for the first time. And now, you can tell she looks at the food and she's thinking about it. But because I already gave her a correction, she knows that if she touches it, something bad's gonna happen to her. And if she listens to me, sit, she gets food, but it comes from me. It doesn't come from the floor. So over time, over repetition, over consistency, you can walk your dog to Costco food court. There can be pizza, pepperoni, hot dog on the floor, and your dog won't touch it because it knows it's not supposed to eat anything off the floor. You know, you go into the house, you cook, and you drop something, drop a food, you know, your dog won't get it because you've already practiced this scenario. You got to put your dog into situations and let them fail, so that way you have the opportunity to correct the dog and show them what you want and what you don't want. Come. Good. Sit. Good girl. And as you can see, I gave her a correction, but she's still listening to me. So that shows you that the relationship between me and her is fair, right? And it's established because there you go. She went for it again. Just give her another correction. Right? And it's established because there you go. She went for it again. Just give her another correction. The dog is always going to try and test you. Every time. So you got to be ready for it. Come. Go. Sit. Down. Good girl. Down. And this is why I make sure there's a balance between playtime, training time, and behavioral training sessions. You know, you can't just go straight into correction, because then the dog's not going to know any positivity and it's going to be afraid of you. You don't want the dog to be afraid of you. You want the dog to respect you and respect the decisions that you make for the dog. Because you know what? The dog doesn't know what's best for it. You know, a couple weeks ago, the Doberman got sick because it kept on eating chicken poo. So now, we're you live and you learn. We know now that she just eats everything off the floor, so we're making it a habit to train her around distractions like this, so that way in the future she won't be eating something that's bad for her and she won't be getting sick. You know, we want her to live a long, healthy life as much as possible. And these are just some of the things that I do for our dogs to help them understand what you can't do in the house. You can tell she looks at it and then looks away. So that's telling you that she's thinking about it. And so when she thinks about it and she makes the right choice, I'm going to reward her and give her a treat. Be like, hey, look, you did good. You didn't get the food off the floor. That's exactly what I want. You're looking at me for approval, right? For guidance. And I'm going to give you a treat because food comes from me and from me only. You shouldn't be getting food off the floor. You shouldn't be getting food from people, from strangers, from visitors. You should not accept food from anybody. Because what some people do, what some robbers do, is they come over with a big fatty steak with poison in it, all right? And they give that to the dog. The dog eats it, the dog gets poisoned. And now there's no threat for the robbers to come in and steal all your stuff. So, if you guys have a Doberman, Cane Corso, any kind of guard dog breed, and you got it because you want them to protect your property, this is a good way to teach your dog to not get food from strangers and just to only accept food from you, the owner. So I'm going to go ahead and leave. I'm just going to do circles and we're going to do this for like 5 minutes. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yes, good girl. Sit. Good. Down. Good. This is a very high distraction, you guys. She's doing really, really good. So there's a correction right there because she went for it. So if she goes for it, it's okay. right? Just make sure that you give a correction. Don't be super mad. Don't like go crazy and yell at the dog. Just make sure that you have the opportunity to correct her. And the better at corrections you get, the better you'll send the message to the dog. Right? Come. Good. Right. Sit. Down. Good down. She's laying right on top of a food. So that's high distraction right there. And the fact that she didn't go for it is just telling me that she's learning. You know, and you can't expect the dog to learn in one day. Some dogs are really smart and they learn fast. Some dogs takes a couple repetitions. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes a month. Who knows? But keep working at it, because the more consistent you are, the better your relationship is going to be with your dog. Good girl. Come. She's avoiding it. It's perfect. Sit. Yes. Okay, perfect. So now I'm done with the training session, and I'm going to go and take her back outside, and we're going to play a little bit, and I'm going to lock her in her cage so she can think about what exactly was going on. I hope you guys enjoyed this training session. I got more training videos for you right up here if you want to go ahead and click it. Everyone have a good day. Peace.